Picks and bans for game 2, folks. Kingdom, they've got to change, well, everything, honestly. The Odin versus the Guan Yu was fantastic, and other than that, nothing really seemed to work out.
But that's the power of Guan Yu. You know, once you pick Guan Yu, they're like, okay, they're gonna pick this and Odin. You know what I mean? It pigeonholes you almost. And they try to double up almost on the Osiris, but then the Osiris fell behind early. Sealcar, you know, back into the scene for the first time in a little bit, maybe feeling a little rusty, and it just kind of fell apart. That's the power of a pick like Guan Yu. You're forced to counterpick against it, and it makes your draft predictable.
So with that in mind, we'll see if Kingdom will pick it or ban it themselves. Kingdom this time have the first selection. SoaR will be on the bottom side. So we'll see where both teams opt to go. The Wukong ban coming out from Kingdom, pretty cut and dry. We've seen PC teams really move away from the Wukong ban with the understanding that they can sort of handle him. We see Wukong handled by gods like, well, so one for Serket to start adapting likes to go Serket into the Wukong just to start the game off very quickly. So we see earlier game gods, and then we see gods like Sylvanas and others that can really deal with stealth.
Lots of dots, that kind of thing, and just early game aggression kind of shutting down, because once Wukong gets 5 items online, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Right.
He can one-shot your tanks, he can one-shot your squishies without even using the ultimate, and so it's really hard to deal with a lot of times. But here's I like this off ban by Robin by Kingdom, because knowing SoaR, look, I'm not selling trade secrets here. They're banning Nemesis. They will. They will never let Nemesis open. They have not let Nemesis through in as long as I can remember. So you know you're going to get a priority pick like a Fafnir.
Chronos going to go back again, and last time we were kind of wondering who it's going to wind up on. Despair killed it. Please just give it to him. The Susano on Chapo this time around.
He likes this god a little bit, but I'm kind of surprised to see him opt into that instead of the Thor.
Sure.
Especially when he was so on last game with the raw double taps, just going in, hitting everything. But maybe wanted to just show it, you know, I can play this god, and you have to respect the fact that I can play this god. Plus, it's just a super strong god right now.
Well, I actually really like the Susano pick. I think Susano and Thor have a little bit in common in the sense that they could rotate the map just as quickly as one another. Susano does so on the ground, Thor does so in the sky. But Susano also, he looked good on TheYungHomie looked good on Susano. They didn't win the game, but you still take notes when hey man, we destroyed this team, but that jungle was a little bit of an issue.
Right.
If we weren't up 19,000 gold, maybe Homie could have brought them back in.
That's absolutely a conversation you have after a big win like that. You're like, okay, here's what went well, but if that hadn't gone as well, what would have caused us problems? And TheYungHomie on the Susano would have been the right call there. So I like the pick, kind of denying it from him as well. And now it's like, okay, you showed us that you can play Susano. Can you play Thor?
Exactly, because we saw TheYungHomie earlier on a Fafnir, and I was not impressed. And the Red Tasker was okay. The Susano, I think, was his best performance today so far. So SoaR taking away from him the hard way, and they'll pair it with a Geb.
And when you're ready, and when you're up against someone who's going to the jungle, going back to TheYungHomie real quick, like who wasn't there last week or something like that, you're not really sure what that team dynamic is. Kind of spreading out their god pool, seeing how wide it is a nice strategy. The Geb here, it's okay. Like, Susano's engage is pretty solid, and he's very slippery, and being able to go all in with Susano and getting a Geb shield would be really, really helpful. But I'm a little concerned about the overall engage, and in the Geb, like, what is he cleansing, really? He's cleansing the Thor ult, he's cleansing the Thor wall, but I don't know. I think I would have liked to see a Bacchus there instead.
Sure. Wow, very different choice. Geb going to be the more defensive character, but now with the Poseidon selection, most likely for Stormy in the mid lane, unless SoaR get really spicy. That's a god we haven't seen in a while. Certainly going to bring out the Sanctuaries on the side of Kingdom.
He's gonna crack in their brains, fam.
I said that a lot, like off air.
Right.
I said that yesterday on broadcast. I forget what happened.
I wasn't the first one.
I forget what happened, and I was like, oh, cracking me in the brain, man. like just something so ridiculous. And I remember getting tweets about it, like Vedium tweeted me or something like,
to Cloud.
oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, Cloud's a good guy. We'll see him play a little bit later on today with his team Most Wanted. But SoaR they finish up their roster. Amy is going to be in the solo lane with Poseidon in the mid. I have a feeling we're going to talk a lot about that guy. Chronos and Geb long lane, and then Susano in the jungle for Chapo.
So the idea behind this Poseidon here is it does well against Fafnir because he goes into the dragon form, right? He's got those immunity frames, you can't hit him, and then you just lay a whirlpool underneath him. And the most annoying thing about Fafnir is how he can jump as soon as after he transforms, right? He can chase you, he can get away, whatever, he can do all that. But if you lay the whirlpool underneath him, as soon as he's able to move, he's crippled, and then you can Kraken him right away. So it has a decent matchup. Gods that can punish immobile guardians like Poseidon, and I really prefer Vulcan against Fafnir. You lay down the turret, you backfire him right away, and you really punish him for standing still for so long.
We'll see how it works out in practice, if it's as good as it sounds on paper. Kingdom going to respond with the Zeus, so Giliara on a very dangerous god here. Dangerous both ways. Zeus is a double-edged sword. He can be so devastating. His damage is so incredibly high. He can destroy the enemy team, but he's easily destroyed. He doesn't really have a way out. If you aggress on him, his only choice is to fight you back, which more often than not can wind up winning those fights.
You peel by damage, and it's all of your own damage. And he kind of went all in here going for the Soul Stone instead of the Vampiric Shroud, electing to not get that extra 100 health, which is fairly significant in that early game, especially against an easy poke god like Susano.
So StormyRays here are going to have a very early clear. For those of you that are newer to the Smite scene, Poseidon is an old god, hasn't been really in the meta for a while. The quick and dirty, Poseidon's clear is fantastic, his area denial is fantastic, and his objective secure certainly up there. But what he gains there, he sort of loses in safety, right? And he can drop a whirlpool on his feet, and he's quicker than most thanks to the passive, but doesn't really have a jump, an escape, or a leap like Raijin.
No, but very, very quick, has the movement speed with that passive like you mentioned, but he's kind of a one-trick pony, right?
Exactly.
It's Whirlpool Kraken, Whirlpool Kraken,
Yep.
Whirlpool Kraken. And even if you have your Kraken, if you miss the Whirlpool, the team fight is in a lot of trouble for you all of a sudden. The Whirlpool is one of the most important mage team fighting abilities there is. I cannot stress that enough. It's like whenever you play Poseidon, it's like this team fight went well because I hit 2 to 3 people with my Whirlpool.
Check
this
out
team fight went
TheYungHomie.
poorly.
Wrapping around the backside, looking for something onto Giliara. Again, that Zeus very immobile. But as soon as Gilly shows that he's not going to be too susceptible, Chapo just walks right on through. Excuse me, Chapo, not homie.
I like this. I like the Jing pick, by the way, for Hotbow. Just kind of giving him a passive god that he can farm on. You don't want to really fight as much as Jing early. Allow him to get that early farm very well with that passive, and then kind of impact these later game team fights.
With that in mind, against a Chronos like Despair, wouldn't you rather have the earlier hunter to sort of bully out the Chronos?
You could, but I think Soul was kind of that idea last time. I mean, Soul is also late game, but she has significantly better early game, right, than a character like Jing Wei, and that kind of didn't go their way. They just lost so much on that right side. So trying a different approach. Let's see if Hotbow can kind of do more in the late game than he did in the early game.
Chapo going to be chased out already, so maybe you're onto something there. 10% HP for the big rock man, so that's going to send Brochacho back to base. Despair going to stick around, however, and deal with the lane on his own.
Jing Wei is also another god that does really well against Fafnir, by the way. You just get a guaranteed, you just lay the gust underneath him when he transforms, and a guaranteed knockup. Gods like that, I think, are the type that we're going to start seeing against Fafnir when he gets so popular.
Early Kraken right away, just showing the folks what he can do. Ult the minions! That's one of my favorite things to do in the game.
So what probably happened there is he drops the Whirlpool expecting it to tick right away, but there's a delay on the first tick of Whirlpool, and they aren't crippled until you see that first damage number that pops up. Once you see the damage number, that's your green light. That's press Kraken.
Sure.
But until you see it, you can't do it, or else things like that happen.
And, well, you start looking a little bit silly. Still, relatively fine. At the end of the day, he's got to be careful. One of the nice things about Poseidon is that he punishes Thor ganks really well. If you land on Poseidon as a Thor, you can just get Krakened as soon as the stun is done and the Poseidon sort of wakes up. So definitely YungHomie has to be a little bit aware of that when he goes for the mid.
Not only that, but YungHomie electing to go for Wrath right away here, kind of taking a page out of Chapo's book, kind of like a salty run back almost, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you guys can do it, I'll show you that I can do it. But the CC is much stronger on Kingdom, or on SoaR this time than what Kingdom had last time. So we'll see if YungHomie gets punished for that.
We'll keep an eye on it. Here's a little bit of secure of SoaR's own buffs. Yubs looking for a little bit of an invade, however. Not going to be able to deal with it as Brochacho going to zone him out.
I don't know. The whole team's coming in here. This is kind of awkward. They're standing there forever. Yubs is going to go up into the transformation. Now the Dragon. Gilly walking in by himself, but Chapo dashes right into Yubs.
It's a 3-on-3, but everybody's sort of all over the place. Ultimate out of the Zeus. Finally, no one on the board just yet until Giliara hits 3 and takes out Brochacho. Kraken goes nowhere, but Chapo able to get one double kill for Giliara so far. Zeus still pushing into the enemy jungle. Nice stun out of TheYungHomie, and Kingdom start the party, get a second one for the mid lane, and SoaR only able to answer back with one onto the support.
Just kind of a really awkward engagement there.
Very slow.
Very, very slowly developing, but most importantly, Kraken off the mark again. Stormy's got to be a little bit more on point, but I was about to say it before that, by the red buff invade, this is the second game in a row that Brochacho was really slow to 5. We're almost to 5 minutes now and he's still level 4. If he's level 5 there, maybe that engagement goes differently with a nice Cataclysm.
Yeah, again, just the way it started was very odd. It almost looks like that, like the roller coaster inching up, like chick, 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 and
you know somebody's coming.
Push something, and then finally Giliara just goes, look, I'm not gonna wait for them to group up, drops the ult, and then claims 1 kill. So finally, Kingdom actually on a good start here, almost a 1,500 gold lead for them. And keep in mind, First Blood's only 500, so they're able to get 1,000 on top of that just after the fact.
And that's really important just because that is keeping farm out of Despair's hands. We talked about how much work he did last game once they got into that mid to late game part of the game. Now, taking away that red buff, that's just something that he can't farm up. Things like that, that's how you keep down a late game carry like a Chronos.
So if we look towards game number 1 for SoaR, they were able to find early wins thanks to Uzzy. Gilly gets pulled and stuck in the whirlpool. Good Sanctuary saves him, but the Kraken, 3rd time's the charm. StormyRays gets a kill for himself. It's 101 for the mid lane.
2 thumbs up for that Kraken. For the 2 thumbs down we got earlier for the 2 missed ones, that one hit 2 perfect patience to wait for the Sanctuary to run out, and just a nice job there by StormyRays.
Sealcar coming around the corner, seeing if he can get crafty around the bend.
And that's kind of an instance of quarterback memory, right? You throw an interception, you miss 2 Krakens in a row.
Forget it.
Just throw it out. Just be loose with ultimates. And that's something that Brochacho in particular is very big on. Be loose with your ultimate. If we met it, he would much rather you throw an ult and completely whiff than hold it. That's like his biggest pet peeve. He's like, yo, Papa, why do you still have your ult? He hates that.
I mean, that's the thing. What's the cooldown on your ult, right? Well, it's double the cooldown if you never use it, right? You're just going to sit there with it for too long. And, you know, famous Michael Scott quote, you miss every single shot you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, right?
F dot. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, F dot.
Exactly. That's how it all works out. But I love how Giliara, or StormyRays, excuse me, it wasn't even the easy Kraken. He had to wait out the Sanctuary. It was a difficult one to really pull off. So credit to the mid laner right there, evening up at least the kill count for SoaR Gaming. Still down about 1,000 gold, but able to shave 500 off of what Kingdom was able to amass this early on. And Kingdom still up top 4 now.
4 now, but the ward coverage is looking a little bit stronger for SoaR Gaming right now. You see 2 aggressive wards on the right side for each team, both warding each other's buffs, but more sentry wards on the side of SoaR.
What are they planning? Brochacho's got the blink online and looking for some sort of engage. There's the raw engage, and Giliara just gets annihilated. Chapo with the last hit off of the Kraken damage. Now Yubs in some trouble. Rotation out of the solo lane. There's a transformation into the Dragon. Going to be zoned out is the solo laner by Brochacho. Now it looks like Uzzy's in some trouble, able to dash away and join the squad. SoaR able to find another kill. Giliara now 2 deaths in that many minutes.
Stormy had 2 people on him, he's juking around, and then immediately throws the 180 Kraken. A great double stun there by Despair, but there's not enough mana to really convert. A perfect whirlpool underneath Yubs as he transforms. That's what's so good about Poseidon against Fafnir.
Here comes Jing. Hotbow just diving into the entirety of SoaR. He's surrounded, and it's to his own doing. He doesn't really care, though. Taking out Brochacho, looking for a second one on a Chapo. Can't find the damage. He'll settle for the kill onto the support. So what was a 1-for-0, very important rotation out of the long lane by Hotbow, able to even things up. It's a support for support trade.
Just that's the power of Jingwei backing there and having that passive to get back to lane very quickly, because you saw Despair, no mana, couldn't really follow up on the fight heavily. But Hotbow comes in, mostly full mana, full health, probably just backed and used that rapid reincarnation passive to get back there quickly, and then is able to clean up because of that. And using the splash damage on his water gun.
I like that one. I like that one, but
it's
be careful.
Wet.
Stop
it's
that.
A splash.
I said
water
stop that.
It splashes.
Stop that. No H2O. No H2O.
I'm going to do what I want.
Jing there, she's going to back, so no splash damage for you. I like SoaR. Here they've made the adaptation. Last game, they were able to get ahead early thanks to Uzzy. They didn't really have that opportunity this time around, so things were a little bit slower. But still, Chapo winds up coming online, able to start things up, and Yubs just caught out in the middle of nowhere. You can't be there, buddy. See ya.
A little bit of an overcommittal with that Kraken, I think. I think he was dead because of the chain CC, but TheYungHomie's going to go up in the sky looking to peel for Gilly. Stuns Chapo just outside of the Lightning Storm, forces the purification.
And a lot of damage coming out for the mid lane, but Despair still able to take out Giliara with a couple of basics and a nice time rift, more importantly. Hotbow avoids the damage and finds a little rift of his own. On to Despair. Nice shield. And a Brochacho, and that'll save Despair.
A nice shield, also a nice shockwave there, preventing the agility in to kind of gas pedal Despair. And you mentioned it right away. That shield is like, it's a game knowledge shield, right? A lot of times, you watch pro players and they're waiting for their shield to stop CC. And so you're like, okay, I'm just going to wait to press the shield until they get CC'd. But there's no danger of CC anymore, and you just want to stop the damage. It's an intuition sort of thing.
If you see the player, hey, he's at 10% HP, I'm going to chase those down. All of a sudden, that Geb shield goes on. How many times, even in your own casual games at home, the Geb shield goes onto a target, and you go, oh, man, this time around, Geb got to shield himself. Going to be fine for the moment. Takes an odd pathing, and Hotbow able to chase him down a little bit, but still, Rollout able to continue on. Now Hotbow controlled out by two players, forcing the ultimate is SoaR. Chapo going to cover the option, going to land right at the bottom, and now Chapo and two of his teammates going to try and hurt out the duo lane. Both Yubs and Hotbow have to run in two different directions. Despair don't carry, still on the chase, however.
If Hotbow's going to full commit there with the agility, he's got to use it to stop the rollout. Yeah. Once Brochacho was able to get rolling, there's no way he's going to be able to confirm that kill. So a little bit of hesitation led to Brochacho living.
And with the ultimate out of both the Fafnir and the Jing SoaR going to try the Gold Fury, and the Kraken secures it. Down for the count, and SoaR take the lead. Lead change, 6-3, and they're up by 1,000 gold.
Just using that Kraken perfectly there. It's not always a kill tool, even though it feels like it, but it looks like they're going to dive the middle lane. TheYungHomie really deep. The Cataclysm stops the hammer teleport. Perfect.
Just well played by Chapo, or Brochacho, excuse me. He'll trade his life out, but that's an entire Zeus ultimate for a Geb kill. Kingdom looking for the tower. Now, if they get the tower, it's a fine usage of the ultimate, but here comes Uzzy. Gonna stun out Gilly, the Zeus in some trouble. Two players from SoaR to play defense, and the tower is half HP and still standing.
Still standing. Sealcar wanted them to get that there. Takes a couple extra tower shots, but Despair and StormyRays now back from base. Just a nice job trading a 1-for-1 and the Gold Fury. Definitely worse for SoaR there.
How's your feeling? Well, hold that. SoaR just going to get aggressive here, looking for a tower of their own. They've got the wave of minions as well, so they're going to keep on pushing. Stormy holding on to his abilities until something is guaranteed. You can see on the right side, about halfway done is the cooldown for the ultimate of the Kraken. So SoaR instead just going to keep on pushing onto the tower. Someone's TPing in, and SoaR still looking for damage. Beautiful wall out of Homie to separate SoaR from the rest of the unit, but just not enough. TheYungHomie going to find safety.
A beautiful wall, but a better knock-up from Brochacho again. Yeah. Stops him from following up with that double tap. A nice pull in on Hotbow by Chapo, but it's not going to be enough. This is just kind of both teams staying a little too long.
SoaR still going to keep on pushing, again chasing out TheYungHomie and Uzzy with an ultimate. Kraken just used kind of oddly there, and on the backside, you can see Chapo in some trouble. The dot out of the Yubs going to do it. Sealcar going to do it as well. 2 kills for Kingdom. Uzzy respond by taking out Sealcar, and Despair going to fall. That's 3 dead for SoaR. Like you said, man, they just stayed far too long.
It's like, hey, Kingdom's staying too long. We can go, we can go. Oh, wait, now we're the ones staying too long.
Just overstaying your welcome right there for both teams.
And we talked about the discipline that was really good from SoaR in the last game, and now where was that discipline there? That's where you should be backing up. Look at all the buffs up. They have every single buff available to them. That should have been a free farm for them.
Uzzy's going to TP in and deal with the Hotbow.
Great stun there by Yubs, peeling for Hotbow. That speed aura definitely would have allowed Uzzy to catch up to him. But Yubs filling in this game. Last game, I believe it was Daily Dale playing support. Or excuse me, last set. Last game was also Yubs, and we haven't really talked about him. But yeah, used to play mid in Season 2 for the old Aware squad, not the current one. But now switching over to support, it looks pretty good so far.
Was that the Aware squad you were playing on?
It was right after I left. Right after I left for Elevate, he's the one who filled in for mid.
Oh, so he was your replacement.
He was, and they 2-0'd us with Chang'e mid.
Oh, I remember the era of Chang'e mid. You know, Kiki plays Chang'e mid in the PC League, and I always bring up the fact that Xbox did it first.
It's so weird too. It's like it's just like annoying. You just dance around and do all this stuff, and you're hard to kill and all this kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure I'm like 98% sure, but Chapo is 0-4 against Chang'e mid in professional play.
Well, maybe that's
There's
the key.
a hint for all you guys out there to beat SoaR. Chang'e mid.
Able to dance through the double taps and stuff.
Yeah, all that
maybe
kind of stuff.
The key.
He just gets, he gets that tunnel vision. He wants it. Oh, nice Cataclysm interrupting the 72 transformations immediately near the Kraken, but it's not enough. Sealcar gets up into the cloud.
And the ultimate going to save the life of the solo laner for now. TheYungHomie, on the other hand, has to force himself out, but the Yubs gets the kill on the Uzzy. SoaR Gaming start that team fight ready to battle, and Kingdom just say, you know what, nah, they're going to get the kill, but Chapo goes deep enough to take out his jungle adversary, so it's a 1-for-1 thanks to Chapo's aggression. With that in mind, Stormy in some trouble, but again, Brochacho saving the day. Brochacho really has had a very noisy and effective game so far.
He's been a huge difference maker, kind of making us eat our words with not liking that Geb pick.
You eat your words. I was fine with the Geb pick.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Eric. I'm going to get a text from him 100%, by the way. He's like, yo, you like those Geb shields, Papo? I'll be like, yeah, it was fine. Like, I just said it. Maybe Bacchus would have been better. I don't know.
Well, the defensive play, to be fair, as another kill goes the way of despair. The Geb pick for me, and I mean you're his ex-teammate, so I want your feeling with it. Brochacho for me has always sort of worked really well with defensive gods and Ares.
Defensive gods and Ares and like some, I don't know.
Wukong.
He also loves playing like Fenrir support, and he like carried my brains out in a scrim not too long ago with it. So he's very adaptable. He can really do it all. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, Bacchus and Fafnir, he's like, yo, we can just beat them with Ares. And I'm like, or we could pick them. Or we could have them, and then they can't beat us with Ares. But, he has his unconventional style, and it works for him.
Hotbow going to use the ultimate right in the nick of time to get rid of the stun out of despair there on the left-hand side. SoaR leading in kills 10-8. But everything else tied up here. Gold Fury going to be looked at by Kingdom and started for the moment. Nobody really from SoaR going to show up. Despair comes over and walks away. TPing in is going to be the solo laner. Gold Fury already down below half HP. Here comes Stormy, Kraken in hand, waiting for it. Too late. Gets the players, but misses the objective. Kingdom winds up with the Gold Fury.
You just have to be aware that they have Wrath.
Yeah.
You have to press back or press tab and just know that they have Wrath. That Kraken has got to come out 4 or 5 seconds earlier. A free Gold Fury for Kingdom, and that's because of wards, or really lack of wards on that left side. You can see only one on the other side of the Gold Fury pit, and then on those bottom right mids for if you're on SoaR's side. Just lack of wards and then lack of knowledge.
That's a really big problem, not realizing that the Wrath is there. That's one of the boons of having the Kraken and or the Poseidon on your team is having that objective secure. Despair in some trouble, no ultimate. He's going to find himself dead very soon if Hotbow can find the shots. That seems to be a larger if than I thought.
Yubs
but
just
Hotbow certainly brings it to town. Right side, team fight. Giliara's Sanctuary's down. TheYungHomie, his life is down. Giliara safe underneath the tower. Sealcar being chased out. And the 72 transformations stopped by the cripple out of Stormy. What a hot, small play. And Kingdom, their solo laner on the escape. Can they find it? Nice zoning out by Stormy, and again, the basic gets the kill.
I mentioned it earlier how Whirlpool is one of the most, most important mage abilities for any mage in their kit. No, I wouldn't go as far as say no mage relies more on one ability than Poseidon does on Whirlpool, but it's close, and you saw the power of it there. Not even for damage or the slow, exclusively for that AoE cripple, getting that kill and securing that tier 2 tower on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I'm more with you than I'm not. I think you look at Kukulkan Tornado.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, Whirlpool is certainly one of the biggest things. The Kraken, of course. I mean, half the time I call Poseidon the Kraken.
Right.
He's just kind of an alt-pod.
Exactly. That's what you think of, but when you really get into the depths of the character, you see these high-level players playing Poseidon. It's how they use their Whirlpool to maximum efficiency. That's what separates the good Poseidons from the Poseidons in your casual games.
Just being able to understand where and when. Again, that Whirlpool came out as soon as 72 transformations was cast, just predicting it.
The one thing that I'm not liking thus far is this Gem of Isolation third item. He did go for that Spear of the Magus, which was recently buffed, so it's a little bit closer to what it was in Season 2, but you're just kind of lacking damage with this build right now, and you're really relying on that burst damage coming out of that Kraken still, even at 19 minutes.
But with that in mind, Susano's going ham. He's 7-1-4, the highest damage on the team, and then you've got Despair, who's going to be bringing the damage a little bit later. At this point in time, the Poseidon, his damage is good enough. I capitalized both the G and the E in that statement, and the control that the Whirlpool is going to give you is really high. Despair gets another kill, doesn't need any extra damage out of the Poseidon.
No, but it is a great utility on him, but hold on, the Typhoon going to go into Gilly, just running past everyone else to get to this vulnerable Zeus, and that's what you have to do. StormyRays going to confirm the kill. The Kraken just off the mark. The CC immunity from Somersault Cloud kind of willing Sun Wukong out of the slow.
Sealcar able to live to see one more day. Hotbow, on the other hand, didn't get the memo that anything was going on. Split pushing forever. Rotation out of the solo lane. Teleport. Uzzy will send Hotbow home.
I'm surprised that Hotbow's still playing PvE here. I mean, I know the mode isn't out on console quite yet, but I mean, he could be affecting these team fights. He's 2-0-4, he's level 16, got the fully stacked Devo gloves, and these fights are close. You know what I mean? They're close enough that it's like, hey, Hotbow, we need you in these fights.
I mean, SoaR, they're ahead 3,000 gold. You can fight into 3K. I mean, I said last game, you can fight into 5 despite it being dangerous. More than that, it becomes, that's when you want to send your hunter off to split push and deal with everything. 3K, take the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw there that Brochacho's Magi's Blessing gets popped, and I'm a little bit curious about that pickup. Second item there, fairly expensive luxury item, usually seen 6th or 5th, something like that. I wonder if it was a misbuy. Maybe he was going for that Spirit's Robe that he's building into now, or possibly a Mantle of Discord, and then hit the wrong end, you know, and forgot that the undo button's there, but an interesting choice there.
Well, the Geb is going to be the main source of initiation for SoaR, so maybe just wants to make sure he's there. Nice collapse onto Uzzy by Kingdom. 2 players in the pincer maneuver, and Giliara gets the long-range detonate. Sanctuary activated, but that's a dead Zeus. Despair able to find the basic attack. Transformation out of the support. Gonna stun out Chapo. Sanctuary gonna save him for the moment, but the jungler in a lot of trouble. There's a dash, and the Thor dunk gonna miss. Still trying to find a way out. Slippery as ever. Chapo gets away, and everybody turns around and starts looking at Despair. He's not so slippery, however, and Hotbow able to put number 11 on the board for Kingdom Esports.
Just so greedy, holding on to that rewind there by Despair, trying to pick up that kill first. Should have rewound and kind of reset the team fight. Chapo with the Jukes shoes on was able to really extend that team fight perfectly, but now it's just kind of getting sloppy from SoaR. 2 ultimates way off the mark. The rewind too late, and the Kraken somewhere.
The Kraken used defensively. I think Stormy thought he was just going to get collapsed on by 3 players, drops it on his feet, and continues walking forward right to the Geb, who's got a shield if need be. Gold Fury started again, this time very slowly. Chapo's here. Brochacho's around the corner.
Chapo's just too intimidating to go in on with Brochacho here, at least. Without those without those relics available, you can kind of be like, yeah, we can kill him even if he's level 17. He's squishy, he's Susano. But with that Geb shield there, it just provides too much effective health to fight 3-on-2.
SoaR gonna start the Gold Fury this time around. Brochacho on the tank. Stormy gonna drop the Whirlpool underneath. You can see Fafnir and Zeus around. The Wrath on cooldown for what it's worth out of Kingdom Esports.
But look at how little damage the Gold Fury's taking, and that's because StormyRays went for this Gem of Isolation. I would have rather seen him go for a Bancroft's Talon and then the Gem of Isolation. You're not delaying it too much, and you're still getting that utility. A perfect CC chain onto Yubs, nowhere to go, is able to jump out at the last second. A great turn and stun, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough.
Nah, Chapo's gonna be able to finish this one off. The Yubs goes down, there it is.
But it looks like Kingdom was looking at the Fire Giant. Uzzy smelled it though, now going in 1 against 4, taking a lot of damage, but most importantly, forcing them off the objective. A free pick onto Yubs there.
So Kingdom Esports, nice plan. I liked it, just doesn't work out. Stormy off the mark again on the Kraken. He's misjudging the length. When you're not able to cast that Kraken super far away, it's kind of a mid-range ability, so he keeps, I think, overestimating how far away he can really cast it.
I think he's expecting the slow coming out from the Whirlpool to pull them back in, but again, we talked about it early. You gotta wait for the number to pop up. Once you see the number, you're good. Until you see the number, you can't. It didn't matter there. Chapo did a great job of chasing down Hotbow, but TheYungHomie looks like he wants to defend this Phoenix.
Yeah, Chapo gets dropped drop down for 2 kills, and that's going to allow SoaR to keep on pushing. But the ultimate HotHomie combining with the damage out of Hotbow, able to put 1 down for the count. The important kill onto the Poseidon. Uzzy in trouble as well. Nice shield, and that's going to help out the ultimate coming on out. Nice purification from TheYungHomie. He's going to get silenced out, and Uzzy in some trouble. Everybody from SoaR able to really wiggle away, but Despair has to find the damage.
Just late on that Cataclysm from Brochacho. Almost interrupted the hammer throw yet again. Yubs probably going to fall here, even despite the dragon form. And Homie made a really great play there. Dunked down on Stormy, right? And then blocked off Uzzy. But then he had the hog available, and he could have CC chained Uzzy underneath that Phoenix. But because he didn't, he lived for so long, he got the Geb shield, and it all kind of spiraled out of control there. It's not fair to say that Homie messed up that fight or threw that fight or anything like that, but the opportunity was there for it to be really clean and just, you know, you're not used to having that stun maybe on the relic. Really, really close to a perfect play, but because he didn't, it all kind of spiraled.
Close, but certainly no cigar this time around. The game, however, still pretty close. 3K, SoaR in the lead. We've seen that graph is beautiful. I love watching just up, down, really a lot of lead changes is a lot of fun to watch, especially the early and mid game, because that tells you that multiple teams are making multiple ganks, multiple fights, and SoaR, I think, are the top card in this match here. They're maybe expected to be the better team, but Kingdom able to fight into it after they adjust from game number 1.
Kingdom definitely a much better showing, not only from game number 1, but set number 1 against Eager.
Exactly.
You know, kind of finding their footing, and that's not too surprising when you're a newer team. Maybe you're not quite used to each other, some new role swaps, that kind of stuff. It takes some time, and they're doing a nice job of adjusting.
Homie here getting aggressed on by Chapo. Jungle on jungle. Homie's going to get the ultimate force out. Chapo, that's a win for him.
No doubt. Hotbow in an awkward position, forced to use the airstrike, but it was way too late. Stormy and Despair combining, and Homie was just chilling and ate a crack into the face.
That's that. Despair able to pick 1 up as well. That's a 7th kill for the Chronos.
And most importantly, that's the 5th item, a Rod of Tahuti.
Ouch.
You can see how hard those autos were swinging, the stop time, the time rift, all that kind of stuff. Just hitting way too hard. Hotbow not respecting that damage. Still had the purification available as well. Tried to ult away, but you're rooted in place for a short amount of time, but against the 26-minute Chronos, that short amount of time is enough.
So there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. Look how quickly Chronos takes out these towers as well. Just a fantastic tower destroying. I mean, look at it. He's top player damage. Do we have structure damage as well? Despair likely to be on top there. 4K for him. And that's just able to handle it.
And that's just, he's above Hotbow. Even with Hotbow split pushing 2 to 3 straight team fights. You know what I mean? He's just doing a lot right now. And it's kind of funny. I just realized, I just thought about this. Chapo has had like a Chronos player forever. Like, we picked up Zaxi, known for playing Chronos only, basically. Then we picked up Keegs, who has like 30,000 worshippers on him because he plays nothing but Joust. And now Despair, showing his proficiency on Chronos, giving these ADCs the late game carry, and now Despair kind of really making it work for SoaR.
I think Chronos is one of the most valuable characters you can have in your team god pool. Usually, your team god pool, in my opinion, the valuable characters are more control oriented. Your support choices, your solo choices, even your jungle choices. Gods like Thor and things like that. When it comes to hunters, I mean, sure, you want to play whatever's meta, whatever's popular, whatever's powerful, but you could generally play Anher, Jingwei, whatever the hell you really want. The Chronos, however, just the ability to destroy towers as quickly as destroying players late game, I think he's extremely potent, extremely dominant, and right now, in both games, we're really seeing why.
Yeah, absolutely. Despair. Look at this. 1v3 and absolutely no fear, using his cooldowns without even thinking about it. Brochacho's coming from the back. Gilly had no idea.
Nice knock up into the stun. It's going to chase out Gilly's purification, and a beautiful pull from Chapo, but no follow-up out of SoaR, being zoned out just a little bit.
Look at Despair just going in, no regard for his own life. Kraken gonna explode 2 people.
That's the Thor situation. As soon as Thor comes down, the Kraken uppercuts him in the brain, and SoaR able to really find that one. Uzzy takes out Giliara as well. 2 players alive. It's Sealcar and the Yubs, and they're being chased down right now. Sealcar gets a little bit of a slow, but he's pulled into the whirlpool, and Despair puts down the Sealcar. Yubs gonna fall down as well. And ladies and gentlemen, SoaR, they've cleaned it up. 30 seconds on anybody relevant for Kingdom Esports. This Phoenix is gonna go down, and SoaR gonna filter in and just take game number 2.
SoaRchapo just did such a great job keeping these players alive in the early to mid game. Perfectly timed Cataclysm, perfectly timed Shockwaves, Shields, you name it, he had it. And then we get to the late game and it's a despair show. Stormy shows up with a nice Kraken in that last team fight, and that's all they really needed.
It took a while for Stormy to really get his feet out from underneath him, right? Struggled the first 2 Krakens, just not even barely off, like completely off the mark, irrelevant ability. And then number 3 was the charm, able to get the kill off of it. And then from that point on, he wound up 7-2-14, if I'm not mistaken, and just absolutely tore it up.
Went for that utility build. We talked about it a lot, rushing that Gem of Isolation. But by the time he had that damage online in the late game, you saw that Kraken just completely turn that team fight in SoaR's favor. And that's the power of Poseidon. Even if you're missing some early, it only takes one.
And it was just a really big part of what SoaR was able to find in game number 2. The biggest difference between game 2 and game 1, I think, was the clean handoffs. In game number 1, we saw Uzzy hand it to Chapo. On this Thor, Chapo was able to really just completely run the entirety of the mid game. Even missing that ultimate right there, doesn't really care. He finds the double tap and the follow-up damage anyway.
So he missed it, but he didn't. Soul was just immune. She was in her disapparate form, and Chapo would have said something to you about that, by the way. He'd be like, no, I hit that. What do you mean?
I'm getting a DM right now. Hey, Poppy. He's gonna handle me there. But what I love about game number 1 in these highlight reels, Chapo doing it, you're still seeing despair come up in the kill charts. Because when it comes to late game, both game 1 and game 2, despair able to just really run the game.
Absolutely. You just saw him
Chronos
gas pedal onto Jing Wei there. Yeah. And that's what we were talking about. Like, having that Chronos in your God pool, you could have the other players on your team like, okay, just get me to 25 minutes, and then you guys can just sit back and relax and let me just go through the entire team. And you saw it there.
Yeah, he just hung out. And then all of a sudden, like we said, in game number 1, Uzzy really won his lane, handed it to Chapo, like I said, and then it was the despair show. We didn't have the early game in game number 2. Susano was able to find a bunch of kills, and then it was sort of like Susano and Kraken Man and the Poseidon.
Kraken Man.
He was able to really find
Is that like Poseidon like opens up his shirt and it's just
Kraken
a big
Man!
K right there?
Yeah.
Kraken Man.
And then exactly. And then the late game again. Mr. Chronos just able to handle it 7 ways all the way. Just fantastic stuff out of SoaR. They win 2-0. Coming up next, we're going to see Modern Warfare take on Elevate, and we'll end the day with Elevate versus Aware. Stay tuned. We've got some more Smite Console League action.
It's Most Wanted, not Modern Warfare, by the way.
I've been saying MW Modern Warfare for far too long.
He did it like
Most
2 weeks ago,
Wanted
too.
coming up. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
If you have any questions, I can help you out with.